Hi, I'm Tyler, and this is Wendy, and this is PFTR2423 Client Counseling. This is the case study. Okay, so Wendy, we took all of your anthropometry results, which is scientific study of measurements and proportions related to the body. So we took your weight, your height, and your waist circumference, which will all play into your body mass index. Okay. Your weight is 180 pounds, 82 kilograms. Your height is 5 feet 6 inches tall, or 170 centimeters. Your BMI is 28.4, and your waist circumference is 101 centimeters. Okay, so basically, what this scoring, this little graph right here indicates is we're going to look at your BMI, what category it falls into, and it'll tell you what risk you're at. Okay, and then we'll look at your waist circumference for women and see what risk you're at. Okay, and so what I mean by risk is health risks. Okay, so complications, like cardiovascular disease. So your BMI is at 28.4. Okay, so that is in the overweight category, and that is an increased risk for developing complications. Okay. Your waist circumference is at 101 centimeters. Okay, so that is in the extremely high risk category. Okay. So yeah, so that's why we gather all these things just to see what overall health an individual is in. Even though BMI is not a direct indicator of health, because certain people can be like 6 feet tall and have a really high BMI because they weigh a lot because they're super muscular type thing, right? Okay. So next up, I had Wendy complete the state of change questionnaire. And she put down, I am physically active once in a while, but not regularly. And she also added, she would like to start exercising, okay? So the two tools that I picked based upon this state of change questionnaire and the fact that she wants to start working out, I chose Get Active questionnaire and the barriers to physical activity. So the Get Active questionnaire, Wendy, is a questionnaire that just basically asks basic health questions. Have you experienced shortness of breath at rest, loss of consciousness, concussion, so on? It'll ask you how many days per week, minutes per day you work out, thus, minutes per week do you work out. And it's just a questionnaire. It's like just an internal look at yourself type of thing, you know what I mean? And then the barriers to physical activity is pretty self-explanatory. It's barriers to physical activity. So what's stopping you from working out? Is it lack of time, lack of energy, lack of skill? And it's very important when you read these, just the first thing that comes up, in the scoring system right here, just mark it. You know what I mean? Don't think too much about it. Just, do it. So yeah. So first of all, I'm going to get you to do the Get Active questionnaire. So you are completing this questionnaire for yourself.
Yep.
Okay. The following questions will help to ensure that you have a safe physical activity experience. Please answer yes or no to each of these questions before you become more physically active. If you are unsure about any questions, answer yes. Okay. And so, have you experienced any of the following within the past 6 months? Okay. And if you answer no to all these questions, we go to the back and do assess your current physical activity. Okay. So A, B, C, D, E, and F. So you don't have any high blood pressure. You've never had heart disease or stroke.
No.
Never had dizziness or lightheadedness.
No.
And the only reason I'm saying that she hasn't is because the case study, there was no evidence pointing to that. There was nothing addressed about that. So I'm assuming that she doesn't have any of these types of complications. Diabetes, cancer, no.
Okay.
So then we go to the back. Says your current. So during a typical week, how many days do you do moderate to vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity? You said you work out on the stages of change. You said I'm physically active once in a while. So, one day a week type thing
Okay.
is what you were talking about. On days that you would at least, how many minutes a day do you do moderate intensity aerobic activity such as brisk walking? So of that, one day per week that you do work out, how many minutes per day do you work out?
30.
So minutes per week, 30 minutes per week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the bottom is where you're going to sign and everything, date, email, telephone. We don't need to do that for right now. You get the idea of how to do this. Okay, so we're going to move on to the barriers to physical activity.
Okay.
So this is basically just an internal look at, you got to ask yourself, why am I not, as physically active as I want to be? Is it because you had previous negative experiences with physical activity?
No.
No. So lack of time.
It's a tough one.
Well, work, right?
Yeah.
Need to make money.
Yep. Lack of energy. No. Costs. No. Lack of energy. Lack of knowledge. Lack of motivation. Lack of skill. No. Injury or re-injury. No. If you're making an existing condition worse. No. How I see my body. Important. That's important. How I see my body. Reach goals and past attempts. Not important. Goals at once. So why bother? That I cannot achieve the goals I want, so why bother? So that wouldn't be important, would it?
No, because you can achieve your goals, right? So you get this, okay? So Wendy and I have just ran through the barriers to physical activity and the Get Active questionnaire. So first of all, we gathered all of her measurements, okay, and then I told her health risk based upon those measurements, okay? And then from there, we did the stage of change questionnaire, which is basically what stage of change is she at? Is she, she was physically active once in a while, but not regularly, but now she would like to start, okay? And yes, she was physically active in the past. So from there, we go on to the Get Active questionnaire and the barriers to physical activity, which are 2 counseling tools to help through the process to start working out. And then from there, I'm going to show her the Canadian Food Guide. And now, Wendy, the Canadian Food Guide, you can access this online. It's not, I wouldn't call it dieting whatsoever. It's just a lifestyle change, right? So what I would recommend is just clean eating, right? No caloric restriction, nothing like that, nothing dangerous, just clean eating, okay? So the Canada Food Guide is a website that you can visit. And it's developed by Health Canada, the government of Canada. It's anything from food choices, eating habits, recipes, tips, and so on, okay? So it's going to give you the amount of grains you should be consuming, protein, fiber, fruit, dairy, water. It's just clean eating, okay? That's what I would recommend. That's where you're going to find the most changes if you eat clean, no processed foods type stuff. And this website will help you out. So if I click on food choices here, it's telling you, eat plenty of vegetables, fruits, whole grain foods, and protein foods. Choose foods with healthy fats instead of saturated fats. Create snacks with no added sodium, sugars, and saturated fats. Replace sugary drinks with water. I think that's probably one of the most important things. A lot of people drink various drinks that are available in the marketplace, and they're filled with sugar and stuff like that, when all you really need is some water and maybe electrolytes and stuff like that. But is processed stuff, right? You got to stay away from the processed stuff. You got to eat clean. So again, no caloric restriction, no starving yourself, nothing like that. Just clean eating. And when you eat cleaner, you're eating more wholesome food. So therefore, sometimes you may eat less because the food is more filling and the food has more nutrients in it. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting relationship. So yeah. So this website is
And they have
is available.
recipes.
Yep. The recipes part is really nice too. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. Snacks, all sorts of things, right? This is clean eating, whole eating. So
Yeah.
no processed foods, right?
Right.
So together, since we have your stage of change, we found out your stage of change, okay? We found out the barriers that you have to physical activity, and we found out through the Get Active questionnaire that you have no prevailing health conditions. You've had none in the past. You're healthy. You're ready to go. And so we'll get started on this journey together, and we'll get you feeling healthier.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.